Hello everyone, this is Esperanza Walsh, and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. Again, we're doing the session remotely because of the lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we're still on the topic of backwash, feathering, and even cauliflowers in our painting. So those are all this month's topic. And we're now doing a painting of a ballerina, not a realistic painting, but more of capturing the movement of our ballerina. So this would be today's piece. And okay, to do that, yes, by the way, we've done this one, and now we're doing this one. So to do that, we begin by drawing simple shapes, like 2 triangles and a few lines. And from there, we create an outline of our ballerina. So let's begin. Okay, now we will start drawing our ballerina. So I just need to get a pencil. And the first thing we have to do, okay, would be to draw the 2 triangles that would create the body. So I would draw the first triangle here at the center of the paper. That would be this one. And then the other triangle, which is slightly narrower but longer than the first one, which is going to be the rest of the body, that part which holds the neck and the arms. And I'm putting pressure on the pencil so that you can see what I'm doing. However, if you're doing this at home, please draw it as lightly as possible, so that when we need to erase the guidelines, it won't be difficult for you. Okay, so we now have the triangles, and now we do the legs. Okay, and then this one. Okay, so we have the legs, and then we'll do the feet later. Okay, for now, we will do the upper body. We'll begin with the arm. So this arm first, then it goes upwards. And don't worry if it's too thin, if the arm is too thin or too big, just like the legs, thigh, and other parts of this ballerina. Again, these are just guidelines so that we know where to put the rest of the things. Now, the next bit would be the other arm. Okay, there we go. And then we have our neck. Then the head. And of course, my favorite is the bun. I so love that. Okay, now we will start doing the outline, the curved lines that outlines the ballerina's body. Okay, so we have a curved line here and another one here. Now we would have to erase everything inside this new shape, just like how we did in our previous ballerina paintings. So that's the first bit. So that is done. And the next thing we did in our paintings was the legs, thighs, and feet. So we will do that. Since this is a bit wide, I am going to start here inside. This will be for the knee. So I'm going to make it narrower. Unlike in the previous paintings, we made it wider because the outline, the guidelines we made were thinner. Okay. And then for this one, I'm just going to try and make it a little bit more curvier. There we go. And I think we did very well in that part. Now the feet. Okay. The important part here is the proportion of the feet. They should not be too small. because remember, they should be able to hold the ballerina while doing the movement. Now for this one, this foot is smaller than this one, and the reason for that is the illusion of distance. So this is supposed to be further than this one. So that is the reason for that. Now we will do the upper part of the body, okay, which includes the arm. So we connect this with a curved line, and I love how I put the elbow here. However, on this part, I would need to make a little bit of an adjustment. So I am going to connect this with a curved line, gently making it narrower. And then here, I think the proportions are correct. So I will just use that same proportion. And then the hand. And then on this side, okay, the inner part seems to be okay. And the hand also, well, I made the hand a little bit bigger. Okay, maybe it's too big because this part is supposed to be further than this one. So I think this hand should be a little bit smaller. Now, this arm, I think should be a little bit bigger, just a little bit. So I'm going to connect that with a curved line, just slightly outside the guideline. That would be a new line. And then there we go. Okay, I think this corner shouldn't be there. Yeah, it should be a bit more curved. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm happy with that now. Now I'm going to do the neck, which I'm going to connect with a curved line. And then the head. Okay, for the head, it's not really much of a problem because as long as we have the proportion, it's fine. Now it's time for us to erase the unnecessary lines so we can proceed to painting our ballerina. Oh, okay. Yes, that's okay. I'm making it lighter at the same time. But please be mindful of the new shape that we have. And this one, I must remove this horizontal line. This will be covered by the tutu, but I would still want you to be mindful of the whole shape of the ballerina that we have drawn. Okay, now let me set this aside and let's start painting. Okay, to do the painting, we first paint the ballerina's body. To do that, I'm first going to paint her body with water. Nothing else, just water. And not too much water. Just enough to wet the paper. Not for too much water to flow over. And this is because I want to achieve that sort of flat wash effect. And then I'm going to paint the burnt umber. Okay. And it's okay if it overlaps, if it spreads, because later on we will be creating the dimension shadings on this part of the ballerina's body, well, as well as the rest of her body. But for now, what we need is just to paint her body, the parts that can be seen with burnt umber. And the goal here is to stain the paper with the pigment of burnt umber. And yeah, as you may have noticed, it's a bit too dark. So let me just add water to that. So what I'm gonna do is just to lift the excess paint. And that is by putting this sheet of kitchen towel on top of it. Yes, pressing it down. And then voila, it's now lightened. And now to remove the texture of the kitchen towel, we have to paint it with water to make the distribution of the rest of the pigment even. There we go. Okay, now the next thing is we're going to paint the Ballerina Red, similar to burnt umber. Again, if we have too much, we can lift it using a kitchen towel. If it's not that much, we can lift it with our brush. Okay. Again, the goal here is to stain the paper with this pigment. That's in order to give it a certain tinge of that color, but not really to be dominated by that color. Okay, so now, yes, I know I have too much red, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just gonna put this over and just press it down, then remove it, and then I have my red stain, and then I'm going to paint water again. Okay, because this is the skin tone I want her to have. Okay, so I did 2 layers. Now there's another way of doing this. Another way would be to mix the 2 colors and test it on paper. And once you're satisfied, you can just paint it directly. I do it this way because I find it easier. Now, the next bit we're going to do is to put the dimensions on our ballerina. So I have here burnt umber, which I am going to paint here. And also here. And as you can see here, some of the areas allows the paint to spread because those areas are still wet. Now, if the area has dried, we can help it spread by adding water. So we will get to that in a moment. Okay. And we have to do this quickly because watercolor would dry quickly and the effect, it would stain the paper. We can lift some of it, but not all of the paint. So we have to be really fast. Okay, and so far we're doing a good job. And there we go. Okay, lower body is okay. Now we'll do the upper body. That would be her arms and neck. Okay. Okay. So we're doing a good job here. And then again, to help it spread evenly, we just rinse our brush and paint it with water. Again, if there's too much watercolor or water or any pigment, we can lift it with our brush or the kitchen towel. There we go. Okay, we've done the arms, the legs. Now it's time for us to do the neck area. And again, we help it spread by painting it with water. Okay, again, if there's too much, we have to lift it. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to put some burnt umber on her face. On half of it. Just to give it the dimension as well. Make it look like it's 3-dimensional and not flat. And there we go. Okay, now let me test if it's dry. Not too dry. Okay, at this point, what we can do is to paint the tutu. Okay, so what we have here, be that tutu. So we'll just get some violet paint. Okay. And then from her waist, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit lower than her waist. And then I'm going to paint this like an umbrella. So this is her tutu. And then I am going to paint this going up. Hopefully it's dry enough. If not, we might need to lift it. So spaghetti strap here. It's too wet, just as I thought. Okay, so we would need to lift this. There we go. Okay. And we would need to wait until that part is dry. So let's focus on the tutu. So here I am painting water in a circular fashion. This is to make it look fluffy in appearance once we add the rest of the watercolor on it. Okay, so now I'm just going to get some more red watercolor. Okay, there we go. Yes, it's looking lovely. Okay, so now I'll do her hair first. So I'm going to paint that little bit on her head, which is corresponding to the hair here. And then the bun. Oh dear. This will be difficult to correct if it spreads too much. Well, thank God it didn't. Okay. So that is good. Now I'm going to put some black in this area. And this one as well. And that is to make the bodies and her tutu more three-dimensional. And just let it spread by itself. Okay. I think we've done enough there. However, we have to soften that area. And we just need to paint it a little bit with water. Okay, so now we painted it with water. We have to lift the excess paint. And now it's time for us to get some purple paint. Okay, I hope it's dry enough. Okay, I think it is. Ooh. Okay, we're doing well. And yes, it is dry enough. Well, I would prefer if it was much more drier, if it was drier. However, this would be good enough for now. There we go. And again, we seem to have lost the dimension here. So what I'm going to do is just to lift the excess paint. And then lift the excess paint here. And lift the excess paint here as well. And now I'm going to get some black paint in the tip of my brush. Just put some details here. Just make it darker, some sort of a shadow-like effect. Again, not too much black because it's very overpowering. If we put too much, it might overpower the whole art piece. And we might not see what we want to see. Okay, so now, okay, we lift the excess paint again. I think I've just spread it in the wrong area, but no worries. We will just repeat the process so that we can remove excess paint and just have what we want left there. Okay, that is very pretty. So this is our ballerina number 3 in that position. Oops. Oh, and I think, let me just lift it. I think we should let it dry first before we lift it and move it into a different position. And that is because the paint here would be flowing to the rest of the paper. So we would need to let this one dry, but technically it's finished. All it needs now is to dry. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this session of Art from the Heart, and I'm looking forward to see you next time. And the next subject would still be focus on dancing, so I'm hoping to do a flamenco dancer, and it's also to depict different culture. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.